Hello, everybody. This is Eric Peralta, a.k.a. the Wrestling Enthusiast, host of the Wrestling Enthusiast Real Talk podcast, and I am happy to inform everyone that we are now available on Spotify, multiple platforms, including Spreaker, DZ, Podcast Addict, and Podchaser will all be available, and hopefully coming soon to iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, and CastBox. It will be available for more distributions pretty soon, but in the meantime, enjoy the rest of this episode as we talk about AEW, Fyter Fest, and NXT Great American Bash from night number 2 from both shows. Enjoy the podcast, everybody. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, cats and kittens, dogs and fucking puppies, all you wrestling fans out there, rejoice for 2 great events that just happened. Unless you're one of those stupid motherfuckers not wearing a mask and spreading your fucking COVID all over the fucking landscape in this country. For you worldwide listeners, that's the United States of America, for that matter. But nonetheless, welcome to the Wrestling Enthusiast Real Talk. I am Eric Peralta, otherwise known as a Wrestling Enthusiast, and today we're going to be discussing AEW Fyter Fest night number 2 and NXT Great American Bash night number 2 as well. Will these 2 shows complete shit or complete greatness? For he is limitless and limitless. Because he's saying, get it, Keith Lee? Anyway, that's what we're going to be talking about on the show today. Plus, I have a rant about Kanye West, who is a fucking degenerate motherfucker. But in any event, I'll be discussing that and a little bit of wrestling news, so let's get right to it and talk about the wrestling news. This week, let's check out the numbers for AEW and WWE NXT. And the winner was NXT once again. This is the 3rd week in a row. This week's episode of WWE NXT, Great American Bash episode, drew 759,000 viewers on the USA Network, which was down from the previous week, which did 792,000 and drew a .20 rating for the 18 to 49 demographic, which is down from the previous .22. AEW Dynamite on TNT, which was the Fyter Fest episode, night number 2, pulled in 715,000 viewers, which is down from the show last week, which drew 748,000. They drew a .28 rating in the 18 to 49 demographic, which is down from the previous .29. So it looks like they've won in the demographics again. I guess that's key. I guess that is key for AEW to win the demographic, to win the demos. So that's good. WWE NXT, I got to admit, they did some good. They did a good event. You know, both nights were excellent. And I'll discuss that momentarily. We'll be talking about the reviews in just a little while. There hasn't been much news going on. I mean, the only thing I could say is that what's been happening with well, to be honest with you, there really hasn't been much going on. There was a report that Cody Rhodes was interested in facing Eddie Kingston for the TNT Championship, and the one article here says when a fan asked Cody Rhodes on Twitter if he would entertain the idea of defending the TNT Championship against Eddie Kingston, Rhodes said he was considering Kingston and one other. And he goes, is he? I'll say this, Arn, TK, Real, and Marshall. I don't know who the fuck that is. Let me see. He helped pinpoint challengers for the open challenge. And again, the wishes of those not wanting to reward folks going into business for themselves. I am considering him and the other one who rules my mentions, so stay tuned. So apparently he's challenging many different competitors from the independent scene, and he's leaving his options wide open. So that's really good. That's really cool. Let's see. AEW next week will have Fight for the Fallen. That'll be on TNT. That'll be their episode. It was supposed to be originally a pay-per-view / charity event. So, but however, plans changed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So far, it looks like a good card. I mean, don't get me wrong. It looks like so far they have updated They have updated the card, and it looks pretty good. I'm going to say, as a matter of fact, TNT Championship will be on the line. As Cody Rhodes, or just Cody, because for some reason he can't use his fucking name, because the fucking douchebags over at Titan Tower. Oh, if you're a WWE fan, you know who the fuck I'm talking about. You know, it's WWE. It's because Vince McMahon's an asshole. That doesn't mean I don't like WWE. I love WWE. I just want them to do better. Okay, so anyway, Cody Rhodes. I'm going to go ahead and say that. He's going to compete against Sonny Kiss in next week's episode of AEW Dynamite, which is the Fight for the Fallen event, special event. The other main event is going to be, it'll be Jon Moxley versus Brian Cage for the AEW World Title. He was supposed to originally actually defend the title back in actually yesterday. We're recording this. It's right now. It's July 9th. So he was supposed to have this done by. He was supposed to have this done by yesterday, but unfortunately, he had to stay in quarantine because his wife Renee Young is tested positive for COVID-19. There's been a lot of shit going on. Lots of fucking issues with the COVID situation over in WWE, which I criticized Vince McMahon for. Fucking idiot. And yes, I'm gonna criticize him because I think for him to be doing that stupid shit, why is he fucking? You know what it is? He is he's a supporter of Donald Trump because they're fucking friends. This moron. Why would you want to be friends with a dickhead like Donald Trump? A rich dickhead, to say the least. Okay, but I'm getting sidetracked. So Jon Moxley and Brian Cage again for the AEW Championship. We'll see what happens. Other two matches have been mentioned. It's FTR, which Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood versus the Lucha Brothers, Pentagon Jr. and Rey Fenix. That's going to be a phenomenal matchup. And then the next one, we have a three-way matchup, a 3-against-3 between the Elite, Kenny Omega, and the Young Bucks taking on Jurassic Express, Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, and Marco Stunt. So, yeah, so far that's what it looks like, and I think what determined to see that's going to be a phenomenal fucking match. It's going to be an interesting event, and I must discuss. I will review AEW Fight for the Fallen next week. Also, one added note here: I do plan on reviewing Slammiversary. So, with that in mind, I'm going to definitely check that out. It's going to be on July 18th. It'll take place on that weekend. And I will do whatever I can, and I might upload on Monday, 2 days or 1 day right after the pay-per-view hits. Matches include Ace Austin versus Eddie Edwards versus Trey Miguel for the Impact World Championship. That will determine who's going to appear, and we'll see how that goes. And there's been a lot of rumors going around. It's been shaking around saying that it could be some of the former WWE talent that has been released due to the pandemic back in April. So we're going to check that out, and I'll keep my close eye on things. The Impact Knockouts Championship will be on the line between the champion Jordynne Grace taking on Deonna Purrazzo. That's going to be a good one. Willie Mack, the X Division champion, will take on Chris Bay in a match that I think I have a great deal of personal interest in, because I think that match is going to be it's going to be physical, no doubt. Then there's going to be a gauntlet match to determine the number one contender for the Impact Knockouts champion, the championship rather. Alicia Edwards is involved along with Havoc, Kiera Hogan, Kimberly, Smiley Kylie Ray, Nevaeh, Madison Rain, Rosemary, Susie, who are the alter ego for Su Yung, and Tasha Steelz and Taya Valkyrie. So that's going to be an interesting gauntlet match. We're going to have 11 participants in this one. This is pretty much the whole knockouts division in my perspective, and I've already gone on record. The top 3 women's divisions in 3 promotions right now. Number 1 is WWE. Number 2 is Impact Wrestling. And number 3 is AEW. That's the top 3 in my eyes. There are pretty much more out there. I like Ring of Honor's women's division. I like MLW just barely started theirs. But Zeta Zhang was one of the first women wrestlers out there to sign for MLW. So, by the way, hello Zeta, in case you're hearing. Zeta Zhang, she's currently in Taiwan trying to avoid the COVID situation. So, best regards to her. The North, moving on from the Slamversary event, the North, Ethan Page and Josh Alexander is going to take on Ken Shamrock and Sami Callihan for the Impact Tag Team title. That's going to be very good. And also, the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, Moose will take on Tommy Dreamer. And it's a self-proclaimed title, so we're going to see how that's going to unfold. So Slammiversary 2020 will happen July 18th, only on pay-per-view. Call your local cable or satellite provider to order, or if not, try to get it on interactive pay-per-view pretty soon. July 18th, that's going to be a good one. And also, stay tuned. A day after, I'm going to review Impact Slammiversary. So, let's see how that goes. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to look exciting. All right, now that it's time, I'm going to review NXT Great American Bash Night number 2. It's time for that segment in this show. And I like this show. But to be fair, I like both shows. But see which one was the best show that they could do this week. So we saw how a recap with how good night number 1 was, and that was off the chain. You know, it was really good. I think, in my opinion, night number 1 NXT Great American Bash beat AEW. But not by much. Rating-wise, it spoke the same numbers. People thought NXT was a better show than AEW last week. So, and, like I said, I'm not for any promotion in general. I like to watch both shows. I'm a professional wrestling fan. I like any type of promotion that puts on good shows and puts on great talent. So I'm gonna. And yes, I sometimes criticize the main roster in WWE because sometimes I think they've been treated unfairly. But in any event, with that aside, we're looking at NXT. Although, in my opinion, NXT is part of the main roster as anything else. So, SmackDown or Raw. But I think just they have more freedom and they have more shit to do. So anyway, let's start out night number 2. And this is my review. The show started, and we started off with Candice LeRae versus Mia Yim in a street fight. And I like how Mia Yim right away, as soon as the entrance came out, she fucking came out during Candice LeRae's entrance, and that was good. And that's when they're like, oh, they ain't fucking around here in this match, so they're gonna start this shit. So I don't know what it is to me, but sometimes like I am a sucker for whenever there's a grudge match going on with two rivals fighting against each other, and then one wrestler, which is usually the heel sometimes, or sometimes it's the face going out first. And then sometimes when I think of this, I'm like thinking to myself, when they're coming out to the ring, their music plays, and then all of a sudden they get jumped from behind from their opponent. I like that shit for some reason. And I don't think they do that often, but it's cool with me. But anyway, back to the match. So she sends Candice in after she jumped her from behind and throws a whole bunch of chairs with kendo sticks and trash cans inside the ring. Candice started using them first, but then Mia started to block her, and then walls on her with them. And then Mia started bringing out a table. So we already got a fucking table being used already. Candice used some drop kick, and then she started carrying the match in this part in the beginning. They started going towards the seating area because they started brawling, and it was a good damn brawl. They went to some sort of catering items or some shit. There was some plates and dishes and pans and all kinds of shit, and looked like a basket full of chips or something. But anyway, so they started pulling the table out and they started fighting out there. There's like a little section where it looks like a stage, and they all started fighting each other on top. Mia Yim and Candice. So they all started fucking. She was gonna knock Mia Yim into the corner, and then she was gonna teeter into the table. But then she turns around and she gets some good offense going, and then all of a sudden, Mia Yim knocks her into the table. So Candice goes down, falls into a table, and which looks like a moderate spot, but it was a good spot though. It just showcases that this is a street fight. This is a brawl. They're fighting. No shits are given. So anyway, during the picture, they get back in the ring. Mia has the momentum going, and she gets a chair and Candice gets a chair into Mia's ribs, and then she lays a table flat on the top turnbuckle, which is a weird spot to do it, but I think she used it as a platform. And then Mia put a trash can on her head and hits a big boot, followed by a cannonball, which looked nice. And then Mia pulled out some brass knuckles. Candice ended up blocking with a chair. Then he hits her with the brass knuckles. And then the ladies fight, and then they set to the table that's set up top. There's a whole big stack of chairs that are right there in the bottom that Mia Yim actually set up. And then Candice stole the brass knuckles and then clocks her right in the face with it. Then she hits the wild ride right off the table and onto the pile of chairs, and she scores the victory in the pinfall. And Candice, that was a hell of a fight. I love it. A great fight, as a matter of fact. That was an 8 out of 10 in my eyes. It just showcases that not only is Candice polishing her wrestling skills, she's having her fucking fight skills too. And Mia Yim, she's natural on both sides of the spectrum. She does a really good job on producing great matches that involve stipulations and rules. I remember that ladder match. She was involved in that ladder match, which was involving number one contender. This was back when they were supposed to have the WrestleMania NXT TakeOver Tampa Bay thing, but sadly it didn't come to fruition because the pandemic struck. So she's good at these type of matches, and not only is she a great wrestler, but yes, she's also good at this shit. So I give a nice round of applause for that. These two ladies killed it. So I enjoyed it. It was wonderful. It was a good match. 8 out of 10. The next up, we see, because they're going to talk about Keith Lee versus Adam Cole, which was the North American champion versus the NXT champion, and it was a winner-take-all matchup. So they were giving, Mark Henry gives his prediction. It goes with Keith Lee, and then they came back, and both women are still laid out, so they both fucked each other up. And Johnny Gargano ran out and then helped Candice get back up to her feet, and then took her to the back. And that was the end of that. The next match was Bronson Reed versus Tony Nese. And I guess there was a pre-show dark match, quote unquote, so to say. Tony Nese disrespecting Leon Ruff while beating him. Reed watched from the crowd and then went after Tony Nese to help his buddy. So he set up this big match and went to I guess William Regal, and I guess they approved it for this match. So we got an extra match going on here. Okay, cool. It's a big bit showcase, of the way that, because it's sponsored by Papa John's. Get the shakaroni pizza for $12. Okay. That does sound good to me. Anyway, this ain't a show about pizza. This is a show about wrestling. Anyway, Tony Nese started with the match. He used his quickness towards Bronson Reed, and Bronson Reed tried his strength. Nese tried to leapfrog, and then he got slammed with ease, and he just fucking knocked him out, and knocked him over, and just pounded on him to the mat, and then a press slam, followed by a senton. Then Tony Nese had a little bit of offense in, but it was hardly noticeable. Bronson Reed finally looked good in this match. I mean, I liked how he threw the setup with a springboard moonsault, and it got a near fall out of the whole thing. It didn't matter because Bronson Reed came back and won the match with a big splash anyway, and that ended it. This was a match that lasted longer than 3 minutes in my eyes, so I'm going to give it a rating. This rating was 5.5. Reason why I give it a 5.5 is basically this is a jobber type match, but at least it made Bronson Reed look good. And it's hard because I've seen a lot of Bronson Reed matches and they booked them like shit. And now I get to finally see like a match where he actually looks dominant for once. So there you go. I mean, it's at least it's something that Bronson Reed's going to look up to. So he's got some shit going on. And hopefully it keeps up from there. So there's a video package for Mercedes Martinez, excuse me. She's going to be on tonight, later on in this episode. So they're promoting her one more time. So, okay. All right. Robert Stone and Aaliyah come over to Shotzi Blackheart and try to sign her. Shotzi calls the brand a dumpster fire and declines. So then Stone gets pissed off and launches his coffee cup over his shoulder and happened to spill on Killian Dane. And then he launched him to the wall, and while he fell down to the ground, Shotzi Blackheart runs over his leg in her tank. And he oversold it, shit. It was a funny little segment, and it's funny because I wrote that Shotzi Blackheart is a savage. Oh yeah, nah, I heard she's pretty chill. I never met her personally, nor if I mean, I've heard. I asked a question regarding from Thunder Rosa. She actually was around Shotzi Blackheart one time. She says she's pretty chill, and she's a karaoke fanatic, so that's cool. Anyway, next matchup is Isaiah Scott against Johnny Gargano. And I thought this match was great. I mean, it showed what Isaiah Scott and Johnny Gargano is capable of. By the way, you know how they use their quickness. Because Isaiah Scott, formerly known as Scott Strickland, it's Mr. Swerve. He still kept the nickname Swerve. It's funny how these guys are, you know, how they're doing. And he has such quickness. He can move inside that ring, and he could maneuver and put on some pretty spectacular matches. So you know, I think you know, he's gonna get some momentum going pretty soon for himself. Maybe he might have a future cruiserweight champion. Who knows? You know, right now we'll see how that goes. And Johnny Gargano. The way this match started, Scott used his quickness to get some momentum going on, and then a super kick was missed on the apron, and then they keep countering each other, and then Scott avoided a clothesline and then pops back up for a standoff outside, and then they go inside the ring. Scott blocked a DDT, and before he hit a Fosbury flop, you know, we go to commercial break. I don't know why the fuck they did that. And there was no picture to picture in this one. Why the fuck do they only do this in certain matches? That boggles my fucking mind. Anyway, once we get back from commercial break, they started going back and forth with each other. There was a slingshot spear that looked nice. Scott had the house call kick that was beautifully executed. Johnny caught his next kick and then applies the STF, and that tried to make him submit, but he got free, and then he hit a near fall, and then and couldn't believe on the GML. So, Johnny tried to get some momentum going, and then he hits a final beat DDT. Johnny Gargano wins the match, and I think, this shows how good Isaiah Swerve Scott is. And, he kind of he has that from Impact Wrestling, that Chris Bay vibe where he has he go and spin over the top rope, and he has that quickness, almost like an X Division star. So, he does really well. So I think he's a important asset that they're going to use for the cruiserweight division. Johnny Gargano gains a little bit of momentum. I don't think it's a bad booking decision. I think it was a decision that they made because I think this is setting Gargano up with something. So this was a great match, and 7.5 out of 10. I like how they both looked. I think Johnny Gargano looked better as a heel, that had generic help with the tactics, but I think he's done extremely well. So, kudos to Johnny Gargano. I think it sets up, Finn Balor against Johnny Gargano. That'd be a good match. We get a video package hyping Io Shirai against Tegan Nox, and apparently it's a badass video package. I love how they had this, explaining that they had similar beginnings, yada yada yada. Sympathy. She's over the sympathy and being the comeback kid. She's a top contender for a reason. So it seems to be flattering to see how the comeback kid story kind of get a little bit over wrapped up in wraps. But I think and there was a moment also where Tegan said Io does it by herself, except last week when she had help from Asuka. So they're going to be ready. It's going to be a good match. And you know what? Like I said, Io Shirai, one of the most talented women wrestlers in the planet. In the fucking planet. She is quicker than a damn cat. I mean, seriously. She is downright insane. Her speed and agility is downright insane. So, yeah, it's fucking nuts. And I bitched last year, why didn't they put the fucking title on her? But, she needed a gimmick change. She was this hyped up Joshi wrestler, that they given her. And then all of a sudden when she turned heel, she ended up being a Joshi Judas gimmick. So I think in my opinion, I think it's done wonders for her. She's actually now a badass, just like Asuka is, And we'll see how this goes from here. I'm sure it's going to be a great match. Next up, Breezango and Drake Maverick teaming up against Legado del Fantasma. In case you don't know who that is, that's the new stable that's going on with Santos Escobar, Joaquin Wilde, and Raul Mendoza. So it was nice. It was a nice match. I liked the 3-on-3. It wasn't like it was a clusterfuck. I watched just to be on the side, real quick. I watched a match on Impact the other day, Impact Wrestling. It was an 8-man tag with 4 teams, and it was okay, but there was times it felt sloppy. And there was some botches by the referee. I guess he must have missed a few things or some shit. I don't know why he missed a fucking tag. He's like, hey, you can't be coming in. You can't be coming in. I think there was this moment where Ace Romero was trying to tag in his opponent. And he was trying to tag himself in. So he gave him a slap in the back. The referee didn't see it at first. So then he did it again about 20 seconds later. So in my opinion, that was a botch. I think he tried to slap in Falaba and TJP, but then again, I mean, not a good match. But anyway, this, on the other hand, this was better. This was a 3-on-3, 6-man tag. Breezango, Drake Maverick looked good. Breezango looks like fucking strippers, but, you know, male strippers, that is. But this was funny. But the way they showcased Legado del Fantasma, it was fun. It was a fun match, you know. It showcased a lot. The way Tyler Breeze and Raul Mendoza kicked this match off. They were off to a fast start, even though Drake Maverick tried to enter in the ring. They started getting, the faces just started getting knocked each other down. They started getting their asses kicked in this match. And Legado del Fantasma hit a nice little triple team move that ended with a moonsault that put Breeze in trouble. However, there was a moment where he tagged in Fandango and he hit a Falcon Arrow, which he actually did. He didn't do that shit in the main roster. But anyway, I'm jabber-jabbing. Escobar avoided Drake Maverick as much as he can in this match. Fandango then did a press slam and then added a springboard corkscrew dive that looked fantastic. It looked like he hurt his knee. And then the heels were like... And then they sent him into the steel steps, and then they started targeting his legs. So apparently he had some sort of weakness going on. So there was a hot tag that was made to Drake, and then he was able to get his hands on Santos Escobar. I almost said Pablo Escobar. Drake does his thing where he makes a mistake by going up to the top. Then Escobar kicks him down and then wins with a phantom driver. So it was fun from bell to bell. It was a good match. I'll say it's a 7. 7 out of 10. Meanwhile, after the match, the Garganos are interviewed about a successful evening, saying that they're the biggest fucking the best, the greatest wrestling couple of the universe. That's a fucking stretch. I mean, if you're gonna think about that, I don't know if they're gonna if any space aliens from planet SB219 is gonna go and fucking start meeting you and saying that and calling you the greatest fucking wrestling couple in the galaxy or in the universe, so to say. Who gives a shit? But they have momentum going, so I'll give them that. Next match, Mercedes Martinez taking on Santana Garrett. You know what the purpose of this match was, right? You know it was to make Mercedes Martinez look good and to make Santana Garrett look bad. Now, Santana Garrett, she barely signed a contract late last year, I believe. I don't know what precisely at the moment, but now the last time I seen Mercedes Martinez, she looked like a powerhouse. You know, she looked strong. She looked like she could kick someone's ass. I mean, if you don't believe me about that, you can watch the match with her against Tessa Blanchard in a 75-minute Iron Woman match that's out there on YouTube. Go check that shit out. But anyway, yeah, this was a squash. It was exactly a squash it needed to be. Mercedes Martinez looked a lot more serious now and have a bigger heel demeanor. Not much. She got some chops on Santana Garrett. I feel bad for her somewhat a little bit because Santana Garrett usually she's capable of more. I mean, she one time challenged Allison Kay for the NWA Women's Championship at one point in time, but you know, Yes, WWCs are a little different. But anyway, Martinez gets a big boot, she fires off some kicks, and she is knocked over and over again. Wins with Fisherman Buster, 1, 2, 3. No rating because it's a squash. The match lasted under 3 minutes, so I cannot rate this match. There's no reason to rate it. A Damian Priest video package comes out, and he starts talking shit about Cameron Grimes, who's going to face next week. He'll get revenge, and he's going to see if he finds out if Cameron Grimes is a little bitch. Okay, we'll see how that goes. Mick Foley gives the edge to Adam Cole in his predictions, and Shawn Michaels does as well, but can see Keith Lee winning. So, okay. So here it is, the big enchilada. NXT and the North American Championships are on the line. Champion versus champion, title for title. This is it right here. Another commercial-free main event, by the way. If you were watching it on USA Network, it was basically commercial-free, but, you know, I enjoyed this match. What a match. Great main event. I love the fact that that this was a commercial-free, number one. Number two, this was a great way to cap off the two-night spectacular, and, you know, this was good. Although I thought night one was somewhat better, this one was still very, very entertaining and very intriguing. I really enjoyed it. Adam Cole started working out with a headlock, started talking shit. Keith Lee ended up powering himself out. He wrenched on Adam Cole, and then he tried to go all the way to the apron because he started pushing him in to get a break. Keith Lee then waits for a 4 count and then just pulls Cole back in illegally. They go outside the ring. Cole avoids charging Lee, who ended up crashing into the fucking pixel glass, head first into the pixel glass. So that was a nice little spot, but, you know, that's also it's also a little spot to be going around to add a little bit more of the spectacle, you see. Cole sent Lee in the steps a few times. Cole hits a backbreaker and then wears Lee down, and he starts getting worn out by all the hits he's been taking. Soon after, Keith Lee deadlift Adam Cole into a suplex, and I gotta say, for the record, Keith Lee is the most in shape, out of shape looking guy. You know, when I mean by that, I don't mean any disrespect. I meant like you know, he's bulky. He's a big dude. You know what I mean? He's a big man, and you know what? He's that brute strength, just natural strength. He just picks some big dude up and lifts him up with his weight, and before you know it, pounds his ass onto the mat. So it's a fucking beautiful thing. So he's a powerhouse, and you know what? If they put him in the main roster and they don't use this guy, then fucking Vince McMahon's a delusional cocksucker, and he should be stepping the fuck down. I know I spoke a lot of mean shit about him, but he's a fucking asshole. Anyway, this shit's not run by Vince McMahon. It's run by Triple H. So we're obviously us wrestling fans are benefiting from that. So anyway, Keith Lee destroys him when he pounded him and then added a spine buster, but he got a near fall out of it. This was a little bit in towards the match. Lee then did a fucking moonsault to top it all off. I was like, what the hell? I can't believe he did that shit. A man 345 pounds, 6'5", and fucking has a power with brute strength. No one could do that shit naturally with fucking moonsault. It was risky, but at the same time, it was spectacular looking. So I was amazed. And yet that still wasn't enough. So Adam Cole started getting up and fighting back. Lee will not stay down after a couple of super kicks to the face and to the head. 2 to the legs, and then the last shot got him down. Lee ended up kicking out with authority. His next last shot attempt is cut off by a clothesline, a massive one. It looked great. Cole hit a massive Panama Sunrise, which somehow I thought that was the end of the match, but he fucking kicked out. And then then he gives at least 2 more kicks, still not enough. Adam Cole then added a last shot, and then he knows he needs more. So then he tries to go up to the top and do a Panama Sunrise attempt, but then he gets countered into a Spirit Bomb. Lee picks him up right after and hits the Big Bang Catastrophe, and boom. Ladies and gentlemen, your new NXT champion, Keith Lee. So he retains the North American title and he keeps the NXT championship. What a spectacle that they put. This was a purebred wrestling match that involved skill, that involved a lot of wrestling maneuvers here. And 2 future superstars. I mean, Adam Cole, I love the way he wrestles. He's a phenomenal athlete. Natural. I just hope he doesn't go to the main roster soon, because Vince McMahon's going to treat him like shit. Keith Lee, awesome match. It was, as a whole, it started well. Just felt like it was a bunch of finishers, but you know what? It was good, because, like, if you think about it, you know, the fact that they try to knock the fuck out of each other, they really gave their finishing maneuvers off and on, but it was a really, really entertaining match, and I was intrigued by it, and I was basically standing on my chair. I wanted to see who the fuck was going to win this. 8 out of 10. Great match. Keith Lee gets a big celebration with confetti and everything, as we saw in that fucking spoiled, when one of the Singh brothers accidentally exposed the result last week. I'm pretty sure he's been reprimanded and fired. So he got the big celebration with confetti, but as he does this, Karrion Kross and Scarlett watch from somewhere above the ring. I think I know where this is going. So, I enjoyed the show. I really enjoyed the show. If I could do a quick recap. The street fight between Candice LeRae and Mia Yim was flat out awesome. They were brutalizing each other. They were fucking each other up. They beat the shit out of each other. And it was an 8 out of 10. I enjoyed it. The Bronson Reed and Tony Nese match, I gave it a 5.5. It almost qualified as a squash, but in reality, it was great. It was good. You know, I was intrigued by it. Hopefully, this gives Bronson Reed some momentum on the way from now on. Shotzi Blackheart running over Robert Stone's legs. That was funny. Isaiah Scott and Johnny Gargano. Isaiah Scott looked really good here. Johnny Gargano got some momentum going. A 7.5. So, I think this is going to move on for another rivalry with Johnny Gargano and Finn Balor. To me, that's what it's looking like. Breezango and Drake Maverick versus Legado del Fantasma. And that one, I gave it a 7. I thought it was good. You know, it was a fun little match. Mercedes Martinez versus Santana Garrett. I give that one no rating because it was under 3 minutes. If it was less than 3 minutes, it didn't give me enough time to analyze it. So, basically what it was, if there's any analysis at all, basically this match was just about putting Mercedes Martinez over with all the vignettes we've been getting for the past 2 or 3 weeks. So, poor Santana gets buried and squashed again. And then the title for title matchup, Adam Cole and Keith Lee. They did a great job, in my opinion, was match of the night, 8 out of 10. So I'm going to give this show a 7.5 out of 10. The only minus points is that the squash match, Mercedes Martinez and Santana Garrett, that's the only thing I could say about that. Otherwise, it was very intriguing. I loved the show. It was good. It looked like everyone knew what they were doing, and I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the fuck out of it. So let's hopefully keep the momentum going, and hopefully NXT keeps producing great shows, because I think they usually do most of the time. So I think night 1 was better than night 2, but in my retrospect, I think night 2 did a good job. It was a 7.5 out of 10. And but night 1 took the cake for me. Good shows by both. So both nights were spot on. All right. So now that we reviewed NXT Great American Bash both nights, it's time to review the second night of AEW Fyter Fest. Now, I asked earlier, what did I think was the better show? Was it because last week I said NXT Great American Bash, that was a better show than AEW Fyter Fest Night 1. So both Night 1s, it came out to NXT winning that one. As far as this week, night number 2, I'm going to go with AEW on this one, because I think that even though the wonderful street fight, wonderful main event, I like that 6-man tag, and I like that Johnny Gargano match, I still think this one took the cake, in my opinion. So, and like I said, I'm not biased. I like both companies, so I just like professional wrestling in general. I just hate the shitheads that run it sometimes. AEW Tag Team Title Match, Private Party versus Kenny Omega and Adam Page. This was the show that was going to start. This was the match that was going to start the show. I'm going to say it in opposite times. So Mark Quinn, Kenny Omega start the match, and this is how the match worked. And I can see if I could take a look at some of my notes here. Okay, so Omega started working the left arm right away, and then Quinn got a leg scissors takedown. So then both men got up, and then they both locked up again. So then there was a side headlock from Kenny Omega, and then drop toe hold off the ropes from Quinn. A standing shooting star into the knees of Omega, and they were already up to a fast fucking start. They're already pulling this shit. So I think they already started to get off for a fast fucking match. And one of my favorite segments in this match, there was a moment where Page tried to drag Mark Quinn and then drag him to the corner, then he tagged in Omega. And once Mark Quinn blocked a Death Valley driver and then dropped Omega and then attacked his head, then they tagged in Isaiah Cassidy and then they double teamed. But Kenny Omega sends Quinn to the apron, and Isaiah Cassidy bounced off. It was and then Hangman Adam Page goes out, grabs Mark Quinn, and fucking power bombs him into the crowd near the rails, which was basically those 4 or 5 couple of guys that were hanging out right there. Then a baseball slide from Isaiah Cassidy sends him over the barricade. Page struggles to get up, and Cassidy's in the ring. Springboard front flip into a cannonball onto everyone outside, and that was fucking dope. That was insane looking. I loved how that shit was. That way that shit looked was phenomenally done. Risky, but it was good. It was a massive spot. It was dangerous, but I thought that was good. A little bit towards the match, if we could go into the conclusion, there was like a little spot where it was Mark Quinn actually. Mark Quinn sent him to a discus, then he gave him a German suplex to Kenny Omega. Then he gave him a double Spanish fly, and then Isaiah Cassidy tried to roll up for the cover and got a near fall. Mark Quinn comes in and does this fucking spectacular looking shooting star press, and but he still kicks. Kenny Omega still kicks out. I loved it. And the Mark Quinn can do a shooting star press spectacularly. I mean, this guy could get some serious air. A little bit further towards the match, towards the end, Mark Quinn was on the top rope and he flied for a 450, but then he lands on his feet. And then Page was on the apron, and then he kicks Quinn, and then Page springboards, but Cassidy flowed him back over, preventing the buckshot. And then Cassidy got a rolling tornado DDT onto the fucking ramp that sounded like it hurt. Mark Quinn back to the top rope and then gave him a shooting star press. And that was a beautiful looking shooting star press. Omega then flew into the rope. And it's just amazing to me how he fucking just gets into there. But anyway, some people say that that Private Party's better than Street Profits from WWE, but that's debatable. I mean, but then again, they're not using 100% of their skill because fucking Vince McMahon doesn't want them to do certain shit. But anyway, I digress. So they set up Page into the corner looking for gin and juice to finish them off. But then here comes a V-trigger and then a Liger bomb off the corner, and then Page then got the last call from Kenny Omega and Adam Page. So, whew. Wow, I'm out of breath just watching this match. It was spectacular. Damn. I mean, it was for all the right reasons, though. It was a great 10-minute match. It felt like it was a 5-minute match, though. I know Private Party can be a bit botchy sometimes, but there were the ones that were doing spectacularly. So they carried a lot of this match as well. Kenny Omega and Adam Page, they look good. They did some awesome shit that they could do for themselves. You know, I just thought it was really, really spectacular. So, 8 out of 10. And it was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. That was a spectacular way to start Fyter Fest, night number 2. Match number 2, Joey Janela against Lance Archer. Lance Archer comes out with Sonny Kiss on his shoulder, then he tosses him onto Joey Janela. Archer then beats Joey's ass on the outside, sends Joey to the barricade, and they starts beating the fuck out of Joey Janela. Joey tried to do a top rope dive and then got a huge splash onto his face. So Joey lifts the ring apron and tries to grab a table and then pulls it out. I'm like, shit, they're already starting this shit already? They're already starting to get a little out of hand. But then Joey went up to the top rope. Lance is already up by this time. He grabs Joey and then drops him down hard onto the mat. Lance then chokes Joey up on the top rope and then sits him on the rope. He hits him on the rope, punches the back of Joey, and punches him in the back of the head, then stomps on Joey in the corner, grinding the heel of the boot into his spine. So they just really started turning this shit into a brawl, slowly but surely, trying to make it like a wrestling match out of it, but I guess that was not the case, because Joey Janela is most known for having some crazy brawls and crazy fights. So basically, this is what I was seeing when I was watching this matchup. I've noticed that they did not go to play by picture to picture, so that's fucking stupid. Once the commercial came back, Joey is punching for his life, and then he hits one of his own. And then we see he got tossed over the barricade and onto another barricade during break. Sonny Kiss tried to distract, but then Joey slaps the shit out of Lance Archer 3 fucking times, and then try to get him with a rolling elbow, but then hits the ropes. But Lance hit a clothesline, but didn't do shit. And I figure he looked like shit in this match because Lance Archer was going to overpower him. So a little bit towards the end, You know, Joey Janela tried to do his best here. You know, try to fight off Lance. Lance Archer just kept hitting the ropes. He tried to lift up Joey in the Razor's Edge like it was like a reverse Razor's Edge, but then Joey float forward and hit a clothesline, gets a near fall. Joey hits the ropes, gets a fireman's carry, then Joey falls off. Then there was a super kick with Joey with a running knee to Archer. Jake the Snake is on the apron with a bag. He's trying to get the snake in the bag or some shit? I don't know. One of his old tactics. Joey then up top, and then with a seated senton, Sonny tried to get a 450 splash, which that looked great. I never seen Sonny Kiss do that shit before, but it looked fucking spot on. Joey covered because while the referee was distracted, so when the referee was distracted, Sonny Kiss snuck in that 450 splash, yet that didn't do shit. Joey then went up to the top. Lance chopped the shit out of his chest, grabbed Joey, lifts him up for the finisher, and then walks on the apron, and he fucking gives him the blackout slam through the fucking table. Lance bounces his head a few times onto the table, and then rolls him up, covers 1, 2, 3. That was it. It was like a squash match, but it was like a interesting one. I give this one a 7. Basically shows who Lance Archer is. He fucks anybody up that gets in his way. Video package for Darby Allin brings up Brian Cage, saying that he is no better way than to return back into the ring to practice coffin drops to the head of foam rubbers. What the fuck was that? That looked crazy. Then Taz and Brian Cage come out. Tony Schiavone is interviewing him. Taz has something wrapped up in black velvet with an orange towel next to it. And then he brings up what was supposed to happen right here on Fyter Fest Night 2. But Moxley went all COVID on us, and Cage will be crowned next week as champion. But that's what brings Taz to this moment, which in his hands is something he created decades ago. And he pulls it out, and it's a championship title belt. And he calls it the FTW World Championship. He says, wrestling fans worldwide recognize the respect for the man who holds this title. The man who holds this title is the baddest son of a bitch in wrestling. And that man will not go into Fight for the Fallen without a title. Because that man is the machine Brian Cage. So basically, Brian Cage is the FTW champion. Taz says Moxley's ass is won, buddy. Okay, kayfabe-wise, it's not unlikely that Taz would be delusional enough to think that his title is worthy of praise. But you know something? This was some shit that was created back in ECW. He created something similar because that was his slogan, FTW, fuck the world. So, this is nothing really too new, but we'll have to see where they take it from here. So, let's look at how many titles they already have in the promotion. They have the AEW World Championship. They have the AEW Women's Championship. They have the AEW Tag Team Championship, and then they have the AEW or TNT Championship. So we have a potential 5th title, and it's the FTW Championship. I wonder what stipulation it is. It cannot be the same like when UFC, over in mixed martial arts, the UFC, when they pulled out the BMF title, when The Rock brought out the bad motherfucker championship. We'll see how that goes from here. All right, another matchup is a 4-on-4 spectacle, and I say spectacle within reason. Lucha Brothers and the Butcher and the Blade versus FTR and the Young Bucks. I like how this match started. I like how this match ended. I like how this match was in between. This gives FTR a fucking loss, but... well, you know... I like how they went with this. This was a spectacular match. I think this contended to be match of the night, in my opinion. I loved how the Young Bucks looked in this match. They looked super fast and super quick. The Lucha Brothers looked fast as well. As you can remember, for the past year or so, they've all started having these spectacular matches when the promotion started. So once last year's Double or Nothing, and then last year's Fyter Fest, and then of course the All Out pay-per-view from back in last August. The Butcher and the Blade, they kind of remind me of Demolition a little bit. So FTR, we already know who FTR is. Dax and Cash. So Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood, yeah, they all spectacular. They kind of remind me of the Brain Busters a bit. Where do I begin to describe this match? I mean, I was watching this match, and I swear to God, I thought my head exploded. No, and it wasn't like 10 out of 10, but there was so much shit going on. It was incredible. I mean, I like Pentagon's demeanor. Well, he likes that shit with the snapmare. It's fucking... He's aggressive motherfucker. You know, he knife edge chops the shit out of every asshole of opponent he has. Ray Phoenix moves spectacularly, so he's good. The Young Bucks there, you know, they do their thing. Boys from Rancho Cucamonga, of course. You know, no, I loved it. I love the way they both did. Butcher and the Blade, like I said, they remind me a little bit of Demolition back in the late '80s. So, yeah, they just look good in this matchup as well. FTR, you know, they're so quick with the wrestling maneuvers. It's just so incredible. Because if you look at it this way, the way in this matchup was that the Lucha Brothers and the Young Bucks were the quickest team as far as, you know, putting on athletic maneuvers and suicide dives and 450 splashes and shooting star presses and whatnot. So their arsenal is filled with those type of maneuvers and drop kicks up the ass. I mean, there was literally everything to go for in this match. Butcher and the Blade, they looked good as far as strength is concerned, but if you talk about wrestling ability, my notes have to go to FTR on this one because they looked up like they were trying to carry this match. So, with that being said, it's hard to describe how good this match actually is. So I'm gonna go a little bit to the. I'm going to go midway towards the match and just to see how everything was. Because these guys fucking brawled. These guys fucking wrestled. These guys fucking gave a lot of spots. But it was just like physical spots. It wasn't like, oh, he crashed into a table or whatnot. No, but there was a lot of physical spots in this match. So I really enjoyed it. I liked how they did a Good Night Express from Wheeler. You know, Wheeler did a fucking hell of a job. Nick actually helped him out with that. But here comes Dax. Dax grabbed Blade and then Butcher on the apron to knock Cash off. And Dax had Blade set up with a pile driver. Then he turns it towards a face corner. And then Nick is on the corner and then he flies off for the assist. There was a near fall, but Pentagon broke it up. Dax is there to send Pentagon into the barricade, into the crowd. And oh man, what a fucking match. I mean, I just, it's so incredible. A double suplex. And then a splash from Cash, then a senton from Matt. And that was a near fall. Ray Phoenix flew with a crossbody to Nick into a pin. I was like, fuck. Damn. So, a little bit in towards the match. Here comes Matt Jackson into the ring. Pentagon gets into the ring, and then Pentagon started chopping the shit out of Matt Jackson. So he fucking lets him have it. And then he punched Then he punched Pentagon. Then Pentagon kicked the leg hard. Then Matt Jackson tried to punch him again. Pentagon blocks, turns it into a pile driver. Ray walks the fucking ropes to kick Nick. Wow, that was incredible. Matt sent to the outside. Pentagon hit with an elbow. Nick, with a high kick, goes to grab Pentagon, but Ray is there, and Ray Phoenix off and running, and run off the fucking back of Pentagon and hit a Canadian destroyer onto everyone outside. Ray was back at the top by this point. And then Dax knocked Ray Phoenix on his ass. Pentagon grabs him, super kicks from Matt, and then hits Dax. Then Ray in the ring, Pentagon grabs Matt Jackson. Ray grabbed the legs, Pentagon locks the head, and he hits his driver for the 1, 2, 3. Holy shit. Wow. I mean, that was spectacular. This match was phenomenal. And you know what? As soon as they first announced this match, this was the first thing on my mind. This match is going to kill it, and it's going to steal the show. And sure enough, I was right. That's what I thought. Lucha Brothers, Butcher and Blade, and that's the first fucking thing they do is steal the show. I fucking knew it. And that's exactly what we fucking got here. So, I loved it. 9 out of 10. If that sounds a bit cynical, well, that's because it was all kinds of shit going on. And you know what? I loved it. It was great. It was almost like something that they could have done in PWG and Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. But in my opinion, these two, I mean, for the fact that Lucha Brothers and Butcher and Blade won this match, that kind of surprised me. Because, you know, I guess that solidifies that FTR are faces with the Young Bucks. I guess so. All this is going on. This is just an amazing match. Huge kudos to Dax. I think he was the main carrier in this match. What a! It was just good storytelling, and you know, it was spectacularly done. So fuck. What can I say? This was beautiful. Okay, so the next match we have is basically a cool down. Before that happens, actually, Big Swole has been served and is not allowed to go into the into the arena because she knows that trick Britt Basura Baker did that. Wow. Oh shit, calling her a fucking piece of trash. That's fucking funny. Anyway, match number 4, Nyla Rose versus Kenzie Page and Killian King. And Kylan, I call it Killian. It's actually Kylan. Yeah, Killian. I don't fucking know. Well, anyway, so they're basically jobbing. I know who Kenzie Page is. She appeared at NWA at one point, but no, I remember that shit. But no, Killian King. I've heard of her, but I only seen her a few times in the Indies. Like I think she might have made an appearance in a few Indies there. I think most recently I watched NWA's Georgia Professional. I'm not too sure. I have to double check on that. So they're gonna fight Nyla Rose in a handicap match. Basically, make Nyla Rose look good. So Nyla basically threw them around like trash. They basically threw them around, fucked them over in the corners, and just basically gave them some headbutts and shoulders. Nyla just tossed Paige like she was a rag doll. Here comes Killian King, and then she ducks and gets a waist lock and takes a couple of hits. Chokehold from behind, hopping on the back. Nyla sends her into a corner, and comes Paige, and then she got sent to King, and then German to Paige, and then spear to King. She lifts Paige and swings her into King, then hits a fallaway slam into King. So she pinned both ladies. And her intentions are that she's going to get a manager. And yeah, she's directing this towards Hikaru Shida, who's actually out there with the crowd. So basically, she was around there. No rating for this match because this was a job. This was a job match, so nothing was gonna go. As far as our manager's concerned, let's see how it fucking goes. Backstage, Colt is all bruised up and fucked up. The med team announced his concerns, but allow him to wrestle. Okay. Lee comes in to assure Colt that with him watching Colt's back, these kinds of accidents won't happen anymore. So they have a 6-man tag to go, and Colt says, "You got it, Mr. Brody." So what's his intentions? That's the thing. Is he with Dark Order, or is he? Well, anyway. So is this giving some hints? So now, the next matchup is Dark Order and Colt Cabana versus SCU, 3-on-3 match. Oh, by the way, the Dark Order consisted of Stu Grayson and Colt Cabana and Brody Lee. And here comes Frank Kazarian, Scorpio Sky, and of course Christopher Daniels. And this was another good match. I mean, I would like to say, Stu Grayson started with Christopher Daniels, so he started this matchup. I guess Daniels didn't fare too well with Grayson, and Grayson started getting momentum going on, and side headlock from Daniels, and hops over, and then eats a drop kick from Grayson. They try to go a quick cover, so that's kind of surprises me a little bit. I mean, these three guys, with the allegiance that Colt Cabana, it looks like he's confused about it. So I don't know. We'll see what goes from here. I like the match. Stu Grayson looked good. We haven't really been seeing him in the past couple of months, and we were wondering where the hell they were, because we were trying to check out and see what happened with Evil Uno, and we haven't seen him appear too often. So, but I think he's starting to finally come and pop up. There was another guy, number 10. I believe he's on injured reserve. So I don't know what happened to him, but I think he suffered some sort of ankle injury. Where does Colt Cabana fit in this? I don't know. But like I said, it's going to be something we're going to check out from time to time. So, this match with SCU, I really enjoyed it. I kind of find it a little repetitive that they kind of did a few basic maneuvers here and there, but at the same time, Colt Cabana looked awesome. I liked how Stu Grayson actually kind of surprised me a little bit. Christopher Daniels and Frank Kazarian, they looked good. Scorpio Sky doing his quick maneuvers as well. I remember there was a point in the match where I think Colt punched Scorpio a few times, and he tagged in Brody Lee, and then he tried to whip up Sky, and then Colt Cabana got a splash in the corner, and then he sent Sky into a body slam from Lee. Then Grayson got off the top rope and onto Sky. So he looked like the legal man. He looked like he was a legal man. He got pinned, but he kicked out. Grayson locked the head on, tagging for Colt. So double team to Sky. Got sent to the corner, and Colt whipped Grayson on around, and he got sent over to the corner, and then his chin hits the apron, so that looked pretty fucking painful. I'm pretty sure they could have had some head contact there. They got to be a lot more. It's a bit risky. It's a bit risky. I can't believe how much time Stu Grayson actually got in this match, to be honest with you. I keep mentioning his name, but I hardly ever seen him in the past couple of months. And then he finally shows up, and he finally has this good fucking match. So at the end of the match, there was a moonsault from Daniels. Colt is in to stop the pin. Then Colt says he had to, so because he's trying to convince himself because he wanted to win. And Daniels hits a right hand, and then Brody Lee comes in the ring, gives him a spinning discus lariat. Lee tells Grayson for Colt to tag in. Colt then covers 1, 2, 3. And then Colt Cabana started smiling. Well, 7.5 out of 10. It was a good match. I liked it. I enjoyed it. Lee is trying to manipulate Colt Cabana into the Dark Order. So we're going to see how that goes. And it looks like now he's trying to reap in the benefits, so to say. Little segment going on with Britt Baker chilling with her Rolls Royce. That's Roles Royce, Royce. Big Swole is in disguise and she talks shit to some security. Swole says today is trash day. She tosses a balled up piece of paper and Britt screams like she has just been attacked by 1,000 bees. And the way it was a bit excessive from Britt Baker. I'm pretty sure she could take more than that. Especially when that one match she had with Hikaru Shida and then she fucking broke her nose. Then her face was fucking bloodied. She's tougher than you think, folks. Anyway, so here's the main event. Orange Cassidy against Chris Jericho. Orange Cassidy pretty much indicated that he wanted to go on his own. Chris Jericho brought Santana and Ortiz. Pretty obvious for heel. So Orange Cassidy is fucking pissed. He calls for the test of strength, but it's a fake out. Hands in his pockets, then gets a headbutt. Jericho swings. When he fucking does that shit, it's fucking funny. I mean, he puts his hand in his pockets. It's fucking hilarious. It's just crazy how fucking quick he could be with his hands in his pockets. I have never, ever, ever seen a wrestler that has fucking puts hands in his pocket, jean pockets, and then he fucking does a drop kick, and then he fucking kicks up, then fucking could do a suicide dive with his pockets. I mean, this one point in the match he didn't do that, but I'm just saying, he just goes full on fire ant. If you watch Chikara from back in the days, Fire Ant was a wrestler, and he was a good one. But anyway, he ducked under a clothesline at one point of the match, spun for a DDT, but Jericho then dropped him and looked for a lion tamer. He then gets it, but Orange reaches the ropes, so he had to use his hands. Jericho then broke the hold on Ortiz with a cheap shot. Jericho with a pin for a near fall. Jericho hits a back suplex, then Orange tried to fight from below, and Jericho kicks him away with a right hand to the face. Apparently he was doing a disrespectful plot. So, with that in mind, a little bit, if we fast forward a little bit, because there was a nice little spot that a couple of Irish whips to the corner, Orange falls hard. Then another whip, Orange falls again. Then the third whip sees Orange float over the apron, flies over the ropes with a roll-up, gets a near fall. Another inside cradle, another near fall. Orange arm drags in for another pin attempt, and it was not countered. And he definitely kicked out. Jericho hits him again, then he whips him, then Orange finally drops down. Jericho eats the top turnbuckle, and then Orange then goes for the Superman punch, but then Jericho ducks. Orange then rolls to the outside with a baseball slide from Jericho into Orange on the outside. He was taking a lot of good fucking hits, and I'm surprised that he was doing that shit and he was moving around. So, Jericho grabs a book from the crowd, probably from Leva Bates, probably. He smacked Orange in the head with it, and I think that was a book. Was it a book? I have to take a look. I have to rewatch that again. But bottom line, though, he hits him with an object. So he's pissed off. Here comes Orange. He stands and enters the ring with some help from Jericho. Jericho locks the head and suplex Orange into the ring, and there was a 1 count. Jericho then gets a chin lock from behind. Orange reaches the ropes with his boot. Orange then gave him some chops, which surprised me. Jericho clotheslined him. There was some decent chops. He covered Jericho 1, 2. Nope. Near fall. Jericho kicks Orange's hand away a few times. Then his head. He lifts up Orange for a back suplex and hits it. A backbreaker across the knee and an abdominal stretch from Jericho. And then he uses the rope. The referee Aubrey just try to keep breaking it. Jericho does it again. So then Aubrey ended up kicking it. That was some old school Earl Hebner shit right there. So towards the match, here comes Jericho getting hit into the ring with extra pulp. With one of the front, it's one of those front flips onto Jericho. So he did that shit. Jericho was onto the ring, diving DDT off the top rope that looked spectacular. Orange readies his Superman punch, but then Jericho catches him in the middle of the air and locks in the Lion Tamer. Orange then crawled toward the bottom rope, and then he reached, and then Jericho just dragged, and then back to the center. Orange looked like he was going to tap out, but then he rolled up 1, 2, no. Then a punch to Jericho's face, which he hit the shit out of him. Santana and Ortiz came up, and then they tossed orange juice in the face of Cassidy. And then here comes best friends, then they start fighting Ortiz and Santana. There was a whole bunch of shit. And that shit started. And before you know it, Jericho hits him with the bat, and he attacks Orange with it with a code breaker. And near fall happens. Jericho clubs to the back. Orange is up. Jericho continues to hit the right, and then a right hand from Orange and a right hand from Jericho. Then he eats an elbow and then gets a lion salt tap. And then Orange then rolls up, and then he got a Michinoku driver, which looked good. It looked great. Near fall once again. Both men are on their knees, right hands, and fighting each other. Orange gets in the win, tries to get the win with a flurry clothesline to Jericho, but then Orange eats a fucking knee. Then Jericho lifts him up for a suplex, but then he hits a stunner. He hits the ropes, swinging DDT, gets a near fall. Orange lifts up Jericho, and then Jericho attacks the back. He goes for a Superman punch, but then a Judas effect. 1, 2, 3. The match is over. You know, I got to tell you, I thought there was, in this segment, in this match, I thought Jericho was going to lose. I thought Orange Cassidy was going to win. And I just felt that I felt that he did an impressive job. It was intelligently done. Chris Jericho made him look good. So I'm going to give this match an 8. It wasn't match of the night. The 4 against 4 tag match was match of the night in my eyes. But this was a close second. So 8 out of 10, Chris Jericho, Orange Cassidy. I really enjoyed it. What did I think of the show in particular? Well, let's take a quick look. I enjoyed the tag team title match. Private Party looked good. I loved how much of a workhorse that Mark Quinn is. Isaiah Cassidy does a tremendous job. Kenny Omega and Adam Page actually are working a hell of a lot better as a tag team now, and they're actually working as a cohesive unit. So I actually like what they're doing. So that match was an 8 out of 10. I love the way they started the show. Joey Janela and Lance Archer was a 7 out of 10. I felt that, it was kind of like a squash match, but in a way it was like a unique one. It was done with purpose. And Joey Janela was, the one that was trying to fight back. And, it just made him look good. I really thought that he did a superb job. Lance Archer fucked him over, and he beat the shit out of him. 7 out of 10 for him. FTW title now has been revealed, and Taz gives it to Brian Cage. Okay, whatever. Let's see how that works in the next couple of weeks. Lucha Brothers and the Butcher and Blade taking on FTR and the Young Bucks. Easily match of the night. I had to say that was match of the night. 9 out of 10. Very good. I worry about sometimes that 4-on-4 tag 8-man tags could be a real clusterfuck. But in my opinion, I actually enjoyed the shit out of this. And Dax Harwood was actually a workhorse in this match. So it amazed me. 9 out of 10. Nyla Rose, Kenzie Page, and Killian King. That was no rating because it was a squash match. And it lasted less than 3 minutes. However, I think her purpose is she's trying to regain the AEW Women's Championship. So there you go. Dark Order and Colt Cabana versus SCU. This was a 7.5. This is furthering the storyline regarding Colt Cabana's membership of the Dark Order. Is he officially joining in and reaping in the benefits? So there was a lot of clues that given it to them in this match. So I personally think that Colt Cabana might be somewhat slowly joining in the New Order. I'm sorry, the Dark Order. Sorry. I'm thinking of the NWO. A couple of days ago, the NWO had their 24 years, the 24th anniversary. So apparently I'm thinking New World Order. No, I'm talking about Dark Order, though. So let's see where this goes from here with Colt Cabana. And then finally, Orange Cassidy against Chris Jericho. I enjoyed the match. It was unique and it was fun. I really thought there was moments where Orange Cassidy was actually going to win this match. But Jericho, made him look good. He looked good in this match, so I really enjoyed the fuck out of it. 8 out of 10. So, I rate the entire show night number 2, and I rated it an 8 out of 10. And to me, this was better than NXT. I like the Mia Yim match, and I love the Keith Lee Adam Cole match. But I thought that, I thought, in my opinion, AEW put on a better show. They got some good quality wrestling here. Night number 2, I think night number 2 was better than night number 1 in Fyter Fest. So this one takes the cake, if you want to think about it. I really enjoyed both shows, and AEW, NXT, and the Great American Bash and Fyter Fest. Originally supposed to be pay-per-views, but since we're in a fucking pandemic, we're obviously handicapped. So, but you know what? They made everything they can. So, with a shit batch of lemons, you can still make something that resembles lemonade. So. I really enjoyed the fuck out of it. It was really, really well done. But AEW wins in my eyes, so that's basically what has happened. Alright, now that we're done reviewing wrestling, I have something that got my attention. A certain individual, Kanye West. This motherfucker. I can't stand him. I don't like him. I think he's a piece of shit, and he's an attention whore, and he's a fucknut. That's what I think about him. Now, but before you start tearing me a new asshole, say, "Well, you don't like Kanye West. Why you ratting on him?" Okay, here, let me explain real quick. When I first heard of Kanye West was back in 2004, and he made good music, and I liked hearing his songs play on the radio or on the CD or MP3. Or on iTunes back in the day. This was around 2004. He was a good guy. I really liked him. I liked that Gold Digger song with Jamie Foxx. Give me mud. 'Cause I'm in need. I used to make fun of that song because I used to talk shit about how his song sounds like I gotta pee. You give me body for I'm in need. I gotta pee. Get down, girl. Go ahead. Get down. Yeah, okay. Fine. That's fine. But I used to like his music. 2005 and 2007, Flashing Lights. That was a good song. I remember playing Grand Theft Auto 4 one time, and I was actually listening to his music. But anyway, so having said that, during the peak of the Great Recession that happened, I mean, we're probably in another fucking recession now that this stupid fucking pandemic's got us locked in and fucking in literal house arrest. Well, his music was getting better and better and better. And I used to like him. It wasn't until late 2012 or early 2013. He married Kim Kardashian. And I thought to myself, well, he's probably just attracted to her or whatever because she's gorgeous and all that shit and whatnot. Although I question it because I got to be, once again, for the record, I do not like Kim Kardashian either. I think she's full of fucking shit. She's a gold digger. She's a terrible businesswoman. She's full of fucking shit. And she has a terrible fucking personality. Not to mention a bad attitude. I don't fucking like her. And of course, she got cosmetic surgery just to get the attention of many guys. But anyway, that's beside the point. I'm pretty sure the sex tape, the only reason why she got popular was because of a fucking sex tape. But anyway, I'm pretty sure Ray J was the lucky one in that part there of the spectrum. Although, shit. But anyway, let's be clear about this fucking douche. Once he married her, he started getting into problems with paparazzi and shit. He started being a fucking asshole. He started doing some dumb shit. His music started to deteriorate. His shit with his business was going down. He was fucking stupid. He was deteriorating him. And then on top of that, he did this shit back in 2015, and he fucking did this thing saying, I'm broke. So he set up a GoFundMe account and said, look, I'm broke. I have no money. Can you please donate? And I promise I'll make records and music and albums and all that shit. And just to showcase how gullible and stupid people are, he fucking makes money. How much did he make in particular? I have no idea. But as far as I'm concerned, he had a GoFundMe, and I was wondering, well, why the fuck? Come on, don't be bullshitting me. Don't be bullshitting me about how much fucking money he made and all this other dumb crap. I mean, for God's sakes. This was the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard of. And, now he's proclaiming that he's broke, and a lot of fucking people fucking fell for it, which is stupid. It's just like the way the Trump supporters fell for his stupid promotic bullshit. They fell for a wrestling promo from a fucking guy that fucking was reading cue cards. I'm like, how can you feel sorry for a motherfucker? I don't understand it. So, I scratch my goddamn head. And what in the fuck? I'm like, yeah, you're paying for a fucking $3 million engagement ring, which this bitch doesn't even appreciate you for or love you for. Just loves the materialistic shit. So fuck Kardashian. Fuck all the Kardashians. And I find it funny that all three of them, are dating And I don't know about this joke, but I find it funny that all of them are dating black men or black athletes, which is nothing wrong with that. But I find it ironic that they are dating them, and then they're fucking all three of the sisters' names all start with K. K. Ring any bells? What the fuck? Are they trying to tell us something here? That's fucking cruel and stupid. But anyway, it's just dumb. This whole thing, I mean, I don't give a fuck about these Kardashian twats. I don't know what Lamar Odom was thinking of marrying them, but I guess, I know what they went for in particular. I ain't going to discuss that shit. But anyway, so he raised money on his GoFundMe account. What else did he do? Oh, he admitted that he was a Trump supporter. Okay, that was just for fucking attention. He was doing that shit for attention. This was about 3 years ago, I believe. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you're gonna have a fucking target in your back and you're just alienating your fucking fans. Douchebag. His music still sucked. Still fucking sucked donkey dick. But in the meantime, 2017, he does this bullshit. Says, I voted for Trump. Then he wears the Make America Great Again hat, which solidified his douchebagginess. A year later, he launches a stupid music video with a tiny-ass little head of his, wearing a fucking one of those bulky, bombsy fucking suits. It looks like a tank. With that one song, You're Such a Fucking Hoe, I Love It. What the fuck? I mean, god damn. You can't be that fucking stupid. But he is. He is that fucking stupid. Now, besides that bullshit, just last year, he changes his rhetoric and he fucking decides to say, oh, I'm a new born-again Christian, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create gospel music. You can't be fucking serious. Once again, asking for attention. And besides all the stupid bullshit that he says, what? Now he's trying to change the genre that I'm a man of God and I'm gonna create rap music about God. I'm like, the feeling's not mutual. He is not a man of God. He's bullshitting. This is attention seeking. Look, there's certain things you got to know about God. First thing is you cannot be fraudulent about him and use his name just to benefit for your own fucking sake and then fucking keep getting making money. Because this is what he's fucking doing. You know what he's afraid of? He's afraid of being irrelevant. He's been irrelevant since 2012 in my fucking eyes. So fuck him. I don't give a fuck about him. Now it's 2020. We're in the middle of a worldwide pandemic. Everything's gone to shit in this year. At least for the most part. And this cocksucker now says he's running for president. Good golly, Miss Molly, motherfucker, cocksucker. I mean, Jesus Christ, man. God almighty. Like, what the fuck is this fucking idiot thinking? This guy is just straight talking out of his ass now. So it's downright stupid. I'm gonna run for president. And I'm going against Trump. No, this is a fucking way to sabotage the goddamn election. This is what this is. That stupid idiot Elon Musk, too. Think that stupid douchebag? Oh, I'm going to build a bulletproof glass. Oh, shit, it cracked. Fucking idiot. He's another one. So, he wants to run for president, yet he hasn't filed the right fucking paperwork to do so. Cock-sucking motherfucker. On top of that shit, there's a report now saying that he's actually going through a bipolar episode. But then again, anybody that wants to run for president probably must have gone through a fucking bipolar episode. Look at the fucking president we have now. Look at Donald Trump. Fucking moron. Anyway, so apparently family members are concerned. Fuck his family. If they let this fucking shit happen, I don't give a fuck about it. I don't give a shit if Kanye West even listens to this show. And I know he isn't because he doesn't like to listen to anything that tells the truth and that fucking tells it like it is. Because the truth Because the truth will set you free, my friend. That's if you believe in the gospel, which I know he doesn't. Fucking lame. So, in my opinion, Kanye West is a fucking douchebag. And I'll never vote for him because let me tell you this. Even if he was to be put in as a write-in ballot or anything in particular regarding this fucking election, which is something stinks about it in my eyes, let me tell you this, folks. Don't fall for his stupid bullshit. This fucking bastard needs to stay the fuck home. Take his fucking medicine. Because in my opinion, fuck. This guy's stupid. And he's trying to sabotage the fucking election. See, look. If he runs in a third-party election party or whatever the fuck it is, an independent, so to say, or the Green Party, either one. One vote for Kanye equals one vote for Trump. Remember what happened the last election? Stupid fucks. And the fanatics, those fans of Kanye West, you better not fall for his dumb shit. If you do, then you're just as gullible and as stupid as the people that voted for Donald Trump. So fuck you, Kanye West, you fucking narrow-minded scumbag piece of fucking shit. Fuck your wife too and her fucking family. So fuck him. Maybe your mother died early for a reason, cock knocker. Fucking scumbag piece of shit. Oh, anyway. So that's pretty much going to do it for this podcast episode. I hope my opinion certainly helped out at this episode because I had to have something to rant about, even though it's been a rather slow week. But don't worry, this stupid Kanye bullshit who's probably wrapping himself in a plastic bag and putting his head on it, hopefully ready to fucking bite the farm, then let him do it. So next week, we're going to talk about AEW Fight for the Fallen. Jon Moxley finally comes back after self-quarantining and says see how he does against Brian Cage, who just recently became the FTW champion. So let's see what happens. So until then, this is Eric Peralta, a.k.a. the Wrestling Enthusiast, reminding you to wash your ass. See you guys next week. Bye-bye, everybody.